A famous car synonymous with iRacing rookies has arrived in RaceRoom, and I think it's the best thing to land in the sim all year. In fact, I think the Mazda MX-5 has found its perfect home, and this phenomenal race will show you exactly why. Right then, we're on the grid. We're starting in 4th at Brands Hatch Indy. Less than a tenth of a second separated me from pole position, so we're on the pace, but it's going to be very tight racing as we're underway and already barreling down into Paddock Hill Bend. I'm going to try and keep a nice tight narrow line to avoid any chance of coming together with anybody else. The tyres stone cold at the beginning of this race, and so you've got to get ready for the car to understeer horribly as we're into the hairpin here for the first time, getting pressure from behind but still sticking nice and close to Voss up ahead. We're down through the left-hander here, then just again trying to feather the car through, not running out too wide as we're getting the car up to temperature, and it looks like everybody, at least in our immediate vicinity, has gotten through the first section of corners in one piece as we round the final corner for the first time. Side-by-side action up ahead between Blino and Voss as they're going down the start-finish straight for the first time. We're under pressure from Neil behind, but it looks like after one racing lap we're going to have consolidated 4th position, even if we've dropped a little bit back from the top 3, but we've got a decent chance here of a podium finish if I can just replicate the kind of pace we were doing in qualifying. But for now I've got bigger problems. I've got Neil down my inside. He's going to be challenging. I'm getting a little bit boxed in by Blino up ahead, and that then is going to mean being down into 5th position, and they're going to go side by side right up ahead of me as well. Oh, it looks like Blino's got off up onto the grass and they've collided. Big hit up ahead of me there. They're both off and into the grass. In amongst all of that, we're now under pressure from Irma behind, and he has got the position. Let's take a look at it again on the replay then. The two cars just up ahead of us coming together in a spectacular accident which would take both of them out of the running. We rejoin the live action then on lap 3, and we're trying to put Irma back under some pressure, but once again I'm coming under pressure from behind myself. Azevedo closing right in, just 1/10 of a second behind, and in fact he's got his nose alongside me, and then Sanchez just 0.2 seconds behind me, and Mogus is just half a second behind me. So this is real pack racing here at Brands Hatch Indy. You can see then we've lost the position into T1, and I might lose a second position to Sanchez here. He's down my inside heading into the hairpin. I'm going to have to try and hold it around the outside. This is hugely tense. It looked like there was a bit of contact between Sanchez and Azevedo there as they're now coming through to the left-hander side by side as well. That might give me a chance to get back up ahead of Azevedo. Yes, I have. Sanchez then making 2 places up in 2 corners, but I've now got Mogus down my inside. We're side by side through the left-hander. This is just absolutely phenomenal racing here in the RaceRoom rookie servers. We're coming through then the right-hander, and again I've got a car down my inside. It looks like we could be dropping down into 7th place here if I'm not careful, but we're able to hold it in 6th for now, and I'm right the way side by side with Mogus heading into the first corner once again here. Am I going to be able to hold it around the outside? Oh, not quite. I lose the position down the inside. I'm then going to try and switch straight away back onto the attack into the hairpin, but there's not enough room down the inside. I wasn't close enough to fight straight back there. So I am now down in 6th. I've got Azevedo in 7th, just half a second behind me, and all of a sudden we've gone from fighting for the podiums to just trying to stay in contention in the top 10. But I just think this car in this sim is a perfect marriage, because the RaceRoom physics are so good in terms of the sensation of weight within the cars, and because the damage and collision physics are so good and forgiving in a way compared to iRacing's, perfect for online racing, this car just feels superb, and it's feeling very good at the minute as we cross the start finish line, heading down into Paddock Hill Bend once again. We've got the run on Mogus, and we're through again and up into 5th position, so we're really continuing this battle into what feels like a 3rd or a 4th straight lap. He's down my inside once again. Look at that. I'm going to have to give him room on the apex, and once more we're going to come out the corner side by side. I should have the high ground into the left-hander here. He recognises that, gets off the gas slightly earlier. The 2 cars behind me nearly come together. All the while we are losing touch with the top 3, and even Sanchez now up in 4th is a couple of seconds ahead. Briefly a yellow flag out there, not sure what for, but it all cleared up by the time we arrived on the scene. But I've gone in slightly deep again into the final corner. This was really my my Achilles heel in this opening section of the race, albeit in qualifying it's where I was quickest, so I need to get comfortable with the race trim car and colder tyres if I'm going to be able to replicate the kind of times I was doing in qualifying. Nearly 3 wide heading into Paddock Club, and once more Morgus gets down my inside. I've now got Azevedo on my inside as well, heading down into the hairpin, almost 3 wide once again. Oh, and a big mistake from Morgus, he slid the car. That's going to give me a chance to be around his outside, heading into the left-hander once more, but he should be able to keep the position here. But it looks as if he's had some sort of incident, because he span out off to the left-hand side, and finally we have a bit of breathing space. Let's just take a look at some of that racing action. Absolutely superb stuff. Really, really enjoyable, and all very fair and respectful. Lots of space given all around, but this car is just so conducive to excellent racing. I can't honestly stress it enough. It's just superb fun and an absolute joy to drive as well. Feels very, very intuitive, very, very straightforward in a way, but very, very rewarding as you're able to hook it up through corners. And there goes Morgus off to the left-hand side, and that was the end of that battle. And really, it took me another 10 laps or so to try and claw the ground back up to Irma and Sanchez up ahead, and finally on lap 15 we were able to do it, but there's only a minute or two of racing time left. So if I'm gonna get into the podium spots, I've worked incredibly hard to get back in contention here, and we're gonna try and shape down the inside end of Paddock Hill Bend. Oh, I've got half a nose just into the rear corner there of Irma, but not enough to be fully alongside and be confident in making the move, so I had to think better of it. But piling the pressure on now, as he himself is piling the pressure on Sanchez. We've got a back marker up ahead. That could be my old SCB running buddy Nick Stone, or it could be a coincidence. Either way, he's been pulled out of the way very nicely indeed, so we three were able to get on past and resume battle as we're heading into now what will surely be the last racing lap of the race. And it looks like Irma's gone in deep, but we've gone in too tight, and I catch a tyre on the grass. That's going to spoil my momentum out of the corner here as we're bombing down the start-finish straight for what should be the penultimate time. Yes, we get confirmation this is the last lap then of the race. It looks like Sanchez is going to be just a little bit far out of our grasp as long as he doesn't make a mistake. Irma, though, we've got half a chance as long as we're able to keep in close proximity to him. But there's yellow flags out. Something has gone on up the road, and it's the leaders. Konietzny off on the right-hand side. It looks like Voss has been able to rejoin, but there's now only just over a second separating us from the lead of this race. Everything turning on its head there. We're promoted back up into 4th position, which, if you remember, is where we started this epic race. It does not tell the full story of the race by any means, as we're closing right onto the rear of Irma once again. We're almost in touching distance of getting alongside him. I'm trying to judge whether to stick in his slipstream or pull out to try and make a move. I'm just going to run out of road, and unfortunately, although we finished nose to tail, I couldn't get the move done. But what happened between the lead drivers then? Konietzny down the inside of Voss in the black livery. That's a back marker that they're trying to negotiate, and it's a really strange one. It looks like it could have been net code because he was miles away from the back marker, but it looked like Voss got a hit on the rear. That took Konietzny out. But there are the final classified results then. We come home in 4th position, but really the story of all of this is just how good the Mazda is on the RaceRoom rookie servers. You've got to go and give it a go, even if you think you've seen and done it all before in iRacing. I promise you, you'll have a blast. And if you want to see more RaceRoom rookie action, check out the video that's on screen now.